Hello, my fellow humans. Welcome back to another daily dice where we ask a dice for a message and find out what that is. Keep in mind these are general readings, so please take what resonates, leave what does not. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you will find all the links necessary below in the description box. You can email me for a personal reading and I'll get you out further information from there. You can follow me on over to my podcast at Scatter Love Radio, which is on Spotify. And you can also join memberships. When you click the link, it will take you to the options I have available, as well as the perks that come with each option. So I do hope to see you on memberships. If not, thank you for your continued support here. With that, let's go ahead and hop to it. The ancestors said they had a message for you. The channeled message that I received before this is that we have Virgo energy coming in rather strongly here, and also a message to let go of pride. Okay, and I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but it was very clear before I even got started. The ancestors have this message, and they want to make sure that this channel message gets out in the get-go. So let's see what this means. So, ancestors, what does your channeled message mean about Virgo energy and letting go of pride? What would you like to say further on this? What is your ancestors' message for my fellow humans? Ancestors of highest light and love, what messages do you have for my fellow humans? I can't. I'm done. I'm over it. I am over it. We literally have Virgo coming out in the dice. I'm done. I'm spent. I'm just gonna bye. Bye, guys. No, I'm not. Don't worry. I'll give you the reading. But that was next level. Look, and we have the south node. I'm sorry, the north node, and we have the first house. This is crazy. This is that's next level. You know, it's like you know the gifts that get channeled through you, right? Like when you have them and they're so real. So real. And you see it all the time, but there's still moments that just leave me completely flabbergasted and surprised. And it's like it doesn't matter how used you get to the gift, like source, well, at least for me, it doesn't matter how used to it I get, it's like source still finds ways to completely leave my mouth wide open on the ground, like my tongue hanging out like a red carpet. Like, what is happening here? Yeah, so we've got this expression, and it's so interesting because the first house can connect with our pride. And that's next level. Pride and Virgo energy were so strong when I first started. It was something to do with pride and something with Virgo energy. And here we have, there's a need to stay modest and humble. Like, there's no need to be out here being like, oh, haha, I got everything I got. And it's not that you're like that. Okay, remember, sometimes pride isn't that loud. Like, sometimes we're still just letting go of the hurts and the wounds that we received when people made us feel like we weren't good enough. And then when we're finally coming into a place where we feel good enough about ourselves and we feel like we are enough, that sometimes we kind of like get it under our skin, like, oh, I'm just gonna poke the bear, you know? And they're saying to stay humble and stay modest and remember where you came from. Remember how all those people told you weren't going to be successful. Remember how all those people told you weren't going to make it. And this is not about like, haha, biznatches, I made it, y'all. Like, that's not what this is. This is a saying, you know what, I did make it. And I made it regardless of what people said about me. I made it because I put my foot down and I said, I'm going to prove it to myself. I'm not going to prove it to others. I'm going to prove it to myself. And maybe when you started, it started as proving it to others. But now it's all about you proving it to yourself and how this really does affect the way that you show yourself out in the world, right? You're going to be seen by a lot of people. You're going to be noticed by a lot of different, whether that's groups or just bosses, co-workers, whatever it is. The ancestors here are saying it is very important that you maintain a cool, level head and remember that all of that illusions that people were trying to make you to believe, all of those things that they said, they were all lies. right? You're emerging as an individual now. And this is a collaboration between you and your ancestors, and they want you to feel pride in who you are and practice stepping into a more authentic version of yourself, but not being so proud that you also unintentionally hurt others in the way of, because you're now walking in your path, right? And sometimes we're not even realizing we're doing it until we become aware, okay? So you're doing a good thing. They want you to know that you're doing an amazing thing. You're being of service here. Okay? But there's no need to be in this space of like, haha, I'm better, or finally I showed you, like rubbing it in people's faces, no matter how much another person did something like that to you. It's so important that you don't do that to other people. And just maintaining a level of love, right? Like they want you to maintain this level of love. Because look, house 1, I cannot make this energy up. This is next level. We have individuality, your self-image, and your approach to life. You know what happens on the journey when you're really trying to be seen for who you are, and you found something that you're super passionate about, but no one supports you. Because that's what this feels like. It feels like you came from a place where no one supported you. They're saying that it's easy for us to finally step up into our power, and at the same time still maintain that wound from the past, and let that wound be a dictating force in our lives and how we treat the people who didn't support us. Like if they're now suddenly stepping forward and they're like, oh, I supported you all along, and then all you want to say is, oh, really? Because I remember all those times that you said X, Y, and Z, and now look at me. You know, and that's still sitting in the pride. That's still sitting in the ego. But being like, you know what? Just being modest and humble about that. Oh, well, I didn't know you were supporting me. You never said it to my face. Like, even if you have to play a level of ignorance, and it's not about being nice here. It's about being kind. Okay, and sometimes we get that confused. It's like, oh, well, you're asking me to be nice and be a doormat. And it's like, no, that's not what they want at all. Like, of course, if somebody attacks you, set boundaries and say, look, I'm not going to take that. And also, if these people come back in and start expecting you to give them handouts, just be like, no, that was never the premise of me being successful. It was not so I could be here giving you these handouts. You don't have access to my life like that. But they're still saying to maintain a level of kindness and still feeling proud of yourself. Celebrate yourself is the message here. House 10, exactly. It has to do with your career. Structure, discipline, your life mission, your accomplishments and careers. You're in your North Node. You're going to be successful at whatever it is that you're doing. Okay? Neptune, dream and transcend. You have to look beyond the illusions, though. Remember that even though you are doing better in your life, that we're all still connected, right? Even the people who hurt us the most, we're still connected through collective consciousness with them. You know, and I had another daily dice. If you don't catch everyday daily dice, there's another daily dice earlier this week that I even actually talked about that in. And we're all collectively connected through this collective consciousness, so we're all together. And I've said this many times on readings, many leaves in one tree. Right? So there's no need to come from this place of like, oh, I'm better than you, or I'm higher up than you, or I'm on a higher vibration than you, and I'm doing better than you. Like, we're all still on the same level. Right? It kind of makes me think of there's a toast that says, I'm not above you, I'm not below you, I'm right here with you. Okay, and that's something that they want you to remember through this. I'm not above you. I'm not below you. I'm right here with you. But that doesn't mean that there has to be a lack of respect either, right? And if there is a lack of respect, it equally means that you're not meant to put up with that, right? Like, you don't have to stand there and let someone disrespect you. But they want you to remember that this was never success so that you could go back and rub it in anyone's faces. And that's something that we eventually grow out of. Like, I feel like those of us that have been on this journey for a long time, and it started like that. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you. And when I show you, you're going to wish that you'd supported me. Right? And we all have that when we first, I know I did. I know I did. But then as I went along and I started healing and letting go, I realized it was like, what's the purpose of all those people even knowing about my success? And that's why I've said on many of my readings, like, people who know me personally in life, I don't share what it is that I do with them. Like, I just don't, because they already knew what I was trying to do before. And if they're wondering what I'm doing now, and I just say the same thing, and I actually had someone ask me that I knew personally the other day. They're like, oh, well, you tell me your channel. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. I don't give my channel out to people that I know personally. Like, I said that, and that's how I said it, and they never asked again. It was not a big deal. It was just, and I had a family member that was there, and they're like, yeah, I don't even know. And it's like, yeah, I designed it that way. That's all I said. I was never mean. I was never mad about it. I was like, it's because you didn't celebrate the small wins that I had before, and why am I going to let you celebrate the big wins that I have now? That's how I felt about it, and that's how they want you to look at it. Like, this is not about proving anybody wrong. It's about proving yourself right. So celebrate yourself, and sometimes you will be the only one that's celebrating you along the way. Okay, consider your foundation. Wow, look at how committed you are to love. Exactly. Are you willing to stand in the energy of unconditional love? Which means I accept everybody as they are in this moment. That doesn't mean that you accept abuse in your life. But if the abuser is there, you can't change the abuser. The only thing that you can change is walking away. Right? You can only change what you're doing with your energy. And so there's the acceptance saying, like, I understand that this person is in this energy, and that's not energy that I resonate with, and so I'm going to remove myself from the situation. That's a whole lot different than trying to convince this person that they shouldn't be an abuser, right? We have kindness flying out here, flipping over, fruit bat, flying fox. I got this. Flying fox. 1212 on the camera, and we have 12, the number right there. All about your perspective. Kindness is one thing. Don't allow yourself to be a doormat, but equally so, don't allow yourself to be an emotional, egoic jerk either, which sometimes happens. And that's a human thing, right? It does feel like that's a cycle. Sometimes you've been in that cycle. Look, here's the deal. I'm not here trying to call you out. This is what the ancestors wanted to say, okay? I'm going to tell you, I've had this very same conversation with my guides, my angels, and my ancestors. They're like, look, Becky, you've been acting a fool. And I'm like, I know. I knew it as soon as it came out. I knew. And they're like, we got to talk to you about this. We got to come back to love. You want to be in unconditional love. You want to be in that energy. You want to bring that to the world. So stop acting a fool. And, it's nothing mean. It's like, just sometimes we get called out, right? Like, sometimes the only way for us to understand is if someone comes to us the way that we would go to someone else, right? And that's exactly what our guides do. That's exactly what, especially our ancestors. Ooh, our ancestors, sometimes they come in rough. What else, ancestors? What else you got for us? Let us know. Make your dreams real. Number 5611. You are growing. Okay? 1333. You are growing. You are weaving your destiny. Okay? And they want you to continue doing that. But while you're doing that, they just want you to focus on celebrating yourself. Don't worry about trying to prove everybody that they were wrong. None of that matters, because eventually your success will become so great that they'll have to watch it from a distance anyways. And they won't even have access to your energy like that anymore. So why give them that access now? Okay? Right. Back to what you love. Reevaluate your desires. Look, they're being very clear about this. Look, and here you have them. They're looking over you. They're saying, come back to love. Okay? Come back to love. Don't get stuck in that emotional, egoic place where we as humans do. It's a human thing. Sometimes we just get so tired of people telling us that you can't. Oh yeah? Watch me. And then when we do, it's so easy for us to go and be snub-nosed about it. Like, look, I did it. You said I couldn't. But now you're still telling them your business, right? And they don't deserve access to you like that. Take time out. Heal your heart. This is something that has definitely affected your heart chakra. Okay, this is something that has affected you internally. It's something that has affected you on a deep, deep level. And it's understandable. All we want is to be seen and to be supported and loved. I mean, that's our deepest right as a human being. And when the family around us doesn't do that, or when people who we trust around us don't do that, it hurts. It's the worst pain when someone betrays us that way, right? And exactly, tired. You're emotionally exhausted from dealing with everything. You deserve a break now. Give yourself that break. Give yourself that break. And don't be in that energy where it's like, oh, I have a right to say something. You know what? It's not that you don't. You have every right to say something. Sometimes our biggest spiritual growth comes from knowing that we have a right to say something and remaining silent still. Not because we're not giving our voice an opportunity to speak. Because we know everything that we're going to say is just going to fall in empty ears. They're not going to hear what you're saying. They're not going to hear what you have to say. They're not going to hear how you're feeling. They never did. What makes a difference now? Broken. They didn't keep the promises they made. They may break your heart, but not your spirit. Exactly. Silence is sometimes the most powerful gift that we've been given. And this is what they want you to know. This is the message that they have for you now. I feel like they want one more message here. Let's get a bird message. All right, that came out flying. We have, let outward deeds and words match inner feelings. Look, I can't make that up. You want to do good. You want to be celebrated. You want to be seen for the amazing person that you are, which are all things that you deserve. Let your outward deeds and your words match inner feelings. How you feel inside should match the outside, right? If you're not feeling that way, if you're like, I want to be an embodiment of unconditional love, but you're showing up in this place of the emotional ego, there's healing there, right? And that's okay. We know what that is. We can deal with that. We can go back to that. Starling, find the strength in social community and achieve your goals. They're very clear that we're talking about a social situation here. You have people who are supporting you. Come back to relying on the people who are supporting you. Don't give in to those, they're almost childish desires is what I heard. It's like, well, I heard childish desires. They said that. Don't give in to childish desires. Don't give in to those childish feelings. They're immature, right? That immature want to just poke someone. You poked me so many times. You cut me with a knife. You tore my heart out. I have this one right to stick you one time. And they're saying draw away from that. Because you have a community that supports you. You have people who see you. Remain humble, remain modest, and remember why you got involved in this in the first place. Celebrate your successes. There's a group around you who are celebrating you as well. Even if it's not the people you thought were going to be there for you on the journey, these people matter more, okay? And they love you. Like, they want you to know that they love you. But there's something that's about to happen that's going to bring you into the next level. Like, this is a huge glow up for you. This is next level energy. And sometimes when we get into that next level energy, we kind of lose ourselves, right? It's like, oh, I finally made it. And that in itself can just cause trouble. So remain calm. Leave your expressions with that inward love that you're trying to match. Make sure that's your outward reality as well, okay? And that's just through speaking that truth into existence. I am an embodiment of love. Okay, if you feel like this is your reading, leave an owl emoji down below and say, I am an embodiment of love. And I use love as my anchor in wisdom, okay? Leave me a thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here and get on out of here. I want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this absolutely incredible message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.